So if you couldn't tell, this morning's going to look a little different. I am beyond honored to have a couple of guests up here with me. So just so you guys know, we're going to have some interview times, and then we'll have a video, and then we'll have an abbreviated sermon today. But the cool thing is, each service, we've got a couple of different people sitting in these chairs. First service, we had Kevin Leinmeister and Candace Troyer. And then third service, we'll have Jenna Fink, as well as Elijah Amstutz. So if you want to catch those interviews as well, you can jump on our YouTube or Facebook page after the service and catch those. But I am so excited to have Orin and Amanda here with me, just talking a little bit about their trip to the Dominican. And let me just say from the get-go, thank you guys for all of your prayer and support as they were there for a week, a little longer than a week turned out. But let's just jump in. Tell me some of the good moments that happened on the trip.
Wow, there's so many. Definitely, I think the absolute highlight of the trip for me was one of the days we were in this, it's kind of like a children's ministry, but it's like a week-long thing, and it's throughout the week. But they also have a young mothers and pregnant ladies ministry. And I got to sit in on an ultrasound for a young expectant mother. And I had never experienced something like that before. But to see, this mother's baby, and I got to hear the heartbeat, and they were doing all the measurements and stuff. And that's when it really hit me that, the impact that the missionaries down there had. Because, ultrasound, it's something that we, in the States, moms, they go and they get their checkups and they get the ultrasounds, and it's this joy they have of motherhood that I realized without, Callie was her name, without her, they wouldn't have that luxury. And so they got to experience that and have that special moment with their baby before it was born, and it really just moved me. And for some reason brought me to tears of just, it showed how good God is and how he provided in that, and I thought that was really cool.
Cool. What about you, Orin?
So I have two. First is the church. We went to church down there the first Sunday that we were there. Second day we were there. And all the entire service was in Spanish. There was an English translator for the sermon. But singing the songs down there with them, some of them we would know in English, so we would sing the English version. Sometimes there was a part of one song that was in English, but also just trying to sing in Spanish. We didn't know the words all the time, at least I didn't, but having the same thought, the same mindset, the same just praising, even if we didn't know exactly what their language was, we were still praising God together. And the second thing is playing with, we went down to a kid's home down there, playing with the little kids there. That's what I spent most of my day doing. And two of them decided that they were going to beat me up all day, so I ended up dying a horrible, brutal death about 57 times that day. So, yeah, but those are two it was all amazing, but those are two things that really stand out to me about the trip.
That's cool. One of the things that we talked about in the pre-mission trip training was how we're not necessarily bringing God to them, because God's already there and he's already working, but we're joining with him in what he's doing. So share, if you would, how you saw God moving in the DR for that week.
God is always moving. That's something we learned. That was one of the mission principles. And I first saw it in our team. A lot of us hadn't been out of the country. Some of us had never flown before. And it was really cool to see kind of the culture shock at the beginning of the week and see, everyone was maybe a little, not really on edge, but they were spectating. We'll say that. And, a new experience, a new culture, not super comfortable with it. And you could see kind of the reservations of our team. But then by the end of the week, we were just jumping right in, super comfortable with the culture. And it was really cool to see that perspective change. And I think that was definitely a God thing. And then just down there, seeing the work that is already being done down there. The people down there don't have as much as we do by far, but they have so much joy and so much community. And I definitely think that's completely because God provides for them. And they might have materialistic poverty, but they definitely are very rich in community and joy. And so I think that's really cool.
Oh, that's cool. What about you, Orin?
So when we went down there, we were staying at a place. Actually, it was part of a mission from of the church down there. But there were volunteers working there that made sure, we got all 3 meals a day, making sure, we had a good place to stay at night. And those people were taking time out of their day. Some were even taking time off work just to be there and help us. So I really saw God in the way they were there to help us, and they didn't complain. None of them complained, never, not once. So they were always there, they were always present, they were always helping us, and they always had amazing attitudes. They were all really cheerful and really showed the joy of Christ the entire time. So I really saw things through a different perspective and just seeing the way that they were there for us.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. There were a lot of different parts of the trip that the students got to be a part of, from pouring concrete floors to, we got a picture here of them doing that, to being a part of the ultrasound, to working at children's homes. But one of the most unique parts of the trip, I think, was the fact that you guys got to go to a leprosy colony. So tell me just a little bit about maybe the feelings going into that and what that was like for you guys.
So they assured us that we would be safe and nothing could go wrong. But I think we were all still very nervous, especially with kind of how leprosy is viewed and how we here in the States hear about leprosy and like it being a Bible Times thing. And so it's definitely a lot of really nerve-wracking. But I saw that, or we all saw that, as an opportunity to love like Jesus did. Back in the Bible times, you have talk about Jesus and the lepers and how he loved them when they were outcast. And that was kind of what we got to do. And it was really cool to be his hands and feet in present day when, this is this community that's like excluded from the rest of the community. And we got to go in and love them and see them as people and hear about their stories and their interests and their desires. And I thought that was really cool. And we just got to love these people like Jesus did. And that was really cool.
That's cool. That's cool. Orin, what did you take away from it?
It was uncomfortable at first, I'll tell you that. Very much so. So in my family, I was homeschooled, still somewhat am. But my mom would take time out of her day every day to do Bible time with us. We did a lot of Old Testament studies. What is in the Old Testament a lot? Leprosy. So I heard about it pretty much on a weekly basis and how horrible it is, whatever, from the biblical perspective. And then we go there and, okay, you're going to be meeting and walking around with people who have this disease. And they kept, as Amanda said, they kept telling us, there is no worries. It is completely safe. You have to be pretty much next to these people for years to even get it or start to get it. But still, everyone was really uncomfortable for the first, really uncomfortable for the first 20 minutes. And then by the end, everyone was fine. Everyone had found a level of comfort zone, if you will. Everyone was interacting well and really just spreading the love of Christ to these people, and really just having a great time with these people. Like they were just people. At the end of the day, we're all just people. No matter what we look like or what we have, we're all just people, and we had reached that level by the end.
That's cool. That's cool. So last, softball question here. How did this trip impact you specifically and individually? How is it going to change you moving forward?
Great question, Corey.
Thank you. Thought of it myself.
Good job. 2 big things for me. First of all, I've always been a more anxious person, worried a lot. And this trip really changed my perspective of how much God provides. Those people down there have significantly less than I grew up with. And yet God still takes care of them. And they're still living and breathing and thriving. And they have food and jobs and ambitions. And it really just taught me that God's in control. He provides, and that I'm going to be okay. And there was really no reason to worry about anything because he is fully in control and he loves his children. And secondly, one thing the leaders down there talked about a lot was that these people down there are people with ambitions, and the parents have ambitions for their kids, just like our parents have ambitions for us. And they have hopes and dreams. And we ran into one little girl, and her dream was to be a cop. And I thought that was so cool. But it really just taught me to see everyone like a child of God. I think that can be really hard on a day where, I got a lot going on, I'm stressed out, I'm grumpy, whatever. And it's easy to just be like, oh, I'm focused on myself because, I'm grumpy. But this really taught me to see every single person as a masterpiece and creation of God and treat them like that.
Cool. That's awesome. Orin?
Sorry, I keep using my notes. Found out about this last night. So it's really changed my perspective on things, and something that CIY stressed a lot going down there was we aren't going down there to bring God to these people. He's already down there. We are just down there to help a little bit. If it was up to us, if it was just a human action, the word of God will not spread if it's only humans doing that, then it would fail, 100%. You see humans try to do anything, it fails. So we're just down there, because God is already down there, and his will and his works are growing, but we're down there just to help and to show people this is what being a Christian can be like, and also to learn ourselves and grow our own faith, just seeing what other cultures are like, and seeing what we have that they don't, what they'd have that we don't. Every culture has something. Mission principle, you touched on it. Cultures are beautiful and broken. They have an amazing community down there that we don't have up here. An amazing sense of unity as a people that I don't think we have up here. Even though they may have less materially, I really wish that something we had up here was that sense of community. So it was almost, it's a trade almost. You go down there as a trade, not just to, not to bring the word of God to people. And yes, there is some of that, but just to learn and help others learn, and grow and help others grow. So.
Cool. Any last remarks, comments from either of you?
Yeah. Touch base with what Orin said. I think it's definitely, we got as much out of them as, we were able to serve them. And I think that was really cool. Mission principle, I think we've talked about a lot of them. There were 7, but one of them was Church Matters. And we saw that down there with the community and the way that the church down there, El Circulo, loved on us and served us and was serving their community. Well, this trip wouldn't have happened without you guys. And you guys are very evident that church matters. Without your support financially, and without your prayers and your support, and the way that you guys have kind of helped raise our group, growing up in the church and seeing examples from you guys of how to love and how to serve, and teaching us how to do that as we've grown up has been is the reason we did this to begin with. So it's all thanks to you guys. And so I just wanted to thank you guys so much for all of your support in all of the ways that you have.
Cool.
So you guys are the not singular reason, but the majority of the reason that we were able to go down there and do what we did and help out down there. But your guys' prayers, I think, changed a lot more than you might even realize. I had to go to the ER when I was down there. That's my joke, and it was horrible. However, I felt loved the entire time, and loved not in a sense that not just the team being there for me and helping me out, but on a level of I felt a presence that I couldn't really explain. And I think part of that was from your guys' prayers and you guys trying to help out with the most powerful weapon there is, prayer. And I really think that helped not only change my attitude, but actually speed my recovery legitimately. So thank you guys for that. Thank you guys for the fiscal support going down there. And thank you for the prayer. I think it changed more than you could ever imagine.
Cool. Hey, can we just give a hand to these guys for being up here? This is so cool. Man, I gotta say, it's a pleasure to be the youth minister here. To have a church that supports, but also to have students that own it. And it's cool to see what God is doing in our youth ministry and what God is doing across the globe. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to catch our announcement and bumper video. After that, I'll give an abbreviated sermon because what they said is probably going to be the most important thing that you heard this morning. So I just got to fill some more time. But thank you guys so much for being up here. Let's catch this video.